Hey, here are 5 stupid things I've noticed since last time. Santorum's war on porn. The longer Rick Santorum's presidential campaign goes on, the more convinced I become that he's not so much running for president of the United States as he is angling for a lifetime gig as the headliner of some hoary throwback vaudeville show. I can picture the whole thing now. The opening act could be like a lame-ass Christian comedy troupe with a name like A Time to Laugh. And they warm the crowd up by performing ornery skits on things like the unforeseen ramifications of papal infallibility, or Lent, or whatever the fuck. And then out comes Santorum himself, the main event, and boy, he really gets them going. Monologuing about the evils of socialism, impiety, and of course, recreational sex of all kinds, including masturbation. If only they'd elected me president, he'll tell enraptured audiences sitting on the edge of their pews all across this great land, I could have finally solved the great moral problems that have afflicted this country for far too long. Problems like gay people, and porno, and folks wanting to make their own decisions about whether or not to have children. And then he closes by nailing himself to a cross while the choir sings God Bless America. I'm telling you, they would eat that shit up. Catholics are weird. Sudden outrage over pink slime. Is it really that different from what they make hot dogs out of? Gingrich demands apology from De Niro. So Robert De Niro, never regarded as a barrel of yucks, makes a joke while he's introducing Michelle Obama at a Democratic fundraiser last week. He asks the audience sarcastically, "Do you really think this country is ready for a white first lady?" And then Newt Gingrich pretends to get all huffy about it and demands that De Niro apologize for making this racially insensitive remark. So let me make sure I've got this right. Republicans can say all kinds of vicious, vile stuff, but as long as they say they were only joking, the rest of us just have to lighten up and learn to take a joke. But when a Democrat says something that is at least recognizable as a joke, we're all hypocrites for laughing and not demanding an apology. The worst part about this phony outrage routine is how bad at it Newt Gingrich is. I mean, you would think he'd be better at it by now with all the practice he's had lately. But you know, I think the real problem is Newt just doesn't know what a joke actually looks like. So he obviously needs some practice. Newt, if you're watching, here is what I suggest. To help you learn to recognize a joke when you see it, here's what you do. You get a mirror, stand in front of it, and look in it. Law of supply and demand confuses anti-abortion Arizona legislator. Arizona State Representative Terry Proud, Republican, Tucson, responded to an email from a constituent opposed to a bill that would ban abortions after the 20th week of pregnancy by writing that not only does she support that bill, but, quote, "Personally, I'd like to make a law that mandates a woman watch an abortion being performed prior to having a surgical procedure," by which she means an abortion. But I don't think she's thought this through. If every woman who wants to get an abortion has to first watch someone else having an abortion, first of all, wouldn't that mandate that a certain number of abortions be performed? Because, I mean, as long as abortion is legal, women are occasionally going to have them because sometimes they're necessary. And what about the woman getting the abortion that is being watched by the woman who wants to get the abortion? I mean, presumably she would have first had to watch someone else have an abortion before she has the abortion she's having that the other woman is watching. And so on and so on and so on. You see what I mean? Like, the line would have to start somewhere. And I mean, I guess maybe you could get around it by having multiple women witness abortions. Like maybe they could do it in an operating theater and have like a dozen women standing there watching one woman have an abortion, and that could fulfill their legal requirement to witness an abortion. And then after that, all they would have to do if they still wanted to get that abortion would be to submit to a transvaginal ultrasound, maybe complete an obstacle course, nothing fancy, maybe a balance beam, one of those horizontal hand-over-hand ladder things, maybe a fire pit, and then stand naked before a panel of middle-aged men and be shamed and verbally abused. And then they can have their abortion. It's as simple as that. It turns out the Catholic Church is even more evil than most of us thought. An investigation of the Dutch Catholic Church last year found evidence that tens of thousands of boys had been sexually abused in church institutions. Now the government is investigating evidence that at least 11 boys were castrated in the 1950s in order to cure their homosexuality after they reported being molested by priests. You know, the really stupid part of the story is that I was kind of shocked when I first read it. Why was I shocked? By now, all of us should know that in this life, with apologies to Ben Franklin, there are three certainties: death, taxes, and that the Catholic Church will always turn out to be even more twisted, fucked up, and evil than we thought it was. The hardest part is only picking five. Catch you next time.